Hey guys, Mike Caggiano here, Section 8 Secrets. I had a friend of mine recently ask me randomly about a property, really more of a follow-up because I was kind of just saying how it's a fun time when I get these rent increases approved. And it was funny because then he was asking like, is it really that impactful? And I said, yeah, I mean, honestly, it is. And I mean, I'm not at this huge amount of number of rental units at this point. I mean, I have 11 units, and honestly, I'm not even in acquisition mode anymore. Haven't bought one in maybe about 9 months now. And I like the number I'm at. 11 is just working with the tenants, and I'm property management myself. And, we talk about that in Section 8 Secrets and coach that and, kind of exploit how you can do that with relative ease while also having a corporate job and raising a family. And, we have 3 kids and whatnot. But anyway, the point of it is he didn't realize like one property can actually be uh, kind of game changing to your passive income. So I took a 9-year look back, and when I talked to him, just verbally, I'm saying this and just off the top of my head type numbers. So obviously, I didn't have it at that level of detail. So it got me to want to break it down even more and just really see, kind of let the rubber hit the road here and really see what does it look like. So I did a post. I'm looking at my post. I barely ever post, just end up being busy. But when I did the analysis, I went through it and I said, okay, yeah, this is worthy of at least posting and just seeing how realistic it is for anybody. This was not me going out and hustling and making connections and networking. This was literally a unseen deal. I didn't even see it. My realtor, who I had worked with on 2 other deals, I just gave her a call. She was also our executive admin for part of leadership team in the corporate job I'm at. I'm still there, getting a W-2 job. And she was also a realtor on the side. And so anyway, I used her and I said, "Hey, Joe, can we make an offer? I already know I like this property." So I broke it down verbally, and I'll do the same here really quick because I think it's exciting to see the realisticness of this and how it can grow over a small period of time, really. So I did a 9-year look back. So on the post and what you will see, if you want to go to the link, and I'll share the link. In fact, if you just go to section8secrets.com, you'll then be able to see the community news. So if you click on that, that's the first post that we've had. We have a new revamped site that we're excited about, new platform, new e-course, some new material, new updates. Home quality standards are always kind of making subtle adjustments, and that's fine. That's good, really. And we're accounting for that. We're showing that in the training, highlighting a few other things. And community news is one of the new things that I really want to kind of try to hit on more frequently, at least once a month, and have a nice article for folks to take a peek at. And it's free. You don't have to join the program or anything. You can just look at this. So I put the purchase and sales agreement. I put on there the signed purchase and sales agreement. I put and highlighted the seller concession. So this is a deal I bought for 105,000, received 2,100 seller concession. I bought it in 2016, almost exactly 9 years ago to the day. April 18th, I closed. So in 3 weeks, I would have been closing 9 years ago on this unit. It was under contract at this time, though. Anyway, though, so I shared the actual details, and I also shared at the time how I underwrote the deal, which isn't much different than now. And I do it in a conservative model. And then I also show where are we at in the forecasted and where are we at in the actual reality. And I'm going to share my screen really quick here. So first thing you'll see here is the article that I'm referencing right now. 9-year look back. Quail Ridge. This is a property in Raleigh, North Carolina. That's where I also live. I am market agnostic, though. I always tell you. I mean, I have units. I have 6 units up in Maine. I have 3 in Greensboro and 3 in Raleigh. And so Raleigh's a great area, though, too. And I also have my single family, my home, my residence as well here. And I mean, the property values have soared. If you know, it's similar to Austin, and they're still going up, which is nice. Anyway, so that is one thing, worth prefacing though, because this property really went crazy in the amount of value and the amount of rent too. So here's the article that I'm referencing. Here's the purchase and sales agreement, literally the signed purchase and sales agreement. You can see 105. You can see down here 2,100 in what's called seller concession. This is what I talk about kind of went away once COVID hit. Nobody was doing seller concession, but this is pre-COVID. Another funny thing, a friend of mine highlighted, he's like, yeah, dude, $50 for due diligence. Yeah, that was back in the day. I mean, now you're talking, most people are putting like $1,500 to $5,000 in due diligence. But, pre-COVID, that, $50, man, that was my standard. I always put $50 on a due diligence and 1,000 on the earnest money. So it is kind of laughable. So you can see here, so all in, 105 minus the 2,100. So, just basically 103 is what I purchased this for. You can see here now, I scroll down, I show you some of the numbers. I did 20%, I did 4.5, I did a 30-year conventional conforming Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac loan through BB&T. Saved me some dollars. I wasn't dealing directly with a broker. I was dealing directly with the bank, with the lender. But ultimately, I still had the closing costs, roughly call it $5,000 if you subtract the 2,100. So I account for that in my total capital up front, 24,000 bucks. My taxes are somewhere around $950 a year, so $83 a month, $38 per month on home insurance. Townhomes valued at this value are, at the time were much less, $30 a month, and the HOA is $225 per month. P&I has remained, of course, so it's a 30-year fixed. I am a big fan of 30-year fixes. You could refi if it works, if the numbers work, but I'm just conservative, so I've actually never refied a property. I haven't had to. I bought in great times. I have a blended interest rate somewhere around 4.1 on all my units. But some will, and now I bought some units last year actually that were in the 6.5, 7% range. So perhaps I will refi those ones at some point. Big fan though of leveraging anyway. Don't want to get sidetracked, but leverage is good, and so is refinancing if you're going to buy more if you're in a growth mode. So total monthly cost of $811. And total rents 1330. So it's a good deal, right? I mean, this is definitely beats the 1% rule, the rent to value ratio. So I was making 519 per month. Okay. So to get to the main point here is you're seeing, I see I got 1,300 per month. I'm actually showing a sign. This is a signed lease agreement itself. So I moved in, and that's another thing with Section 8 secrets. You don't want to have a lot of vacancy. Nobody ever wants vacancy, regardless of what tenant type you're renting to. Private market, executive rental, Section 8. But there's systematic ways and things that we talk about in Section 8 secrets of how you can do that. And I was practicing those. I've refined those, but I was practicing these same things 9 years ago. As you can see, I closed up here on the 18th of April. And then down here, you can see this lease agreement started the 1st of May. And you're able to do that systematic ways. But you can see here, I got it for 1,300. So I then go fast forward to now. So literally in the future, even June 1st, 2025. So my current rent rate is a little over 2,200 right now. And I pushed for an increase. And I'm a huge fan of this. I mean, you guys, we put it in our lease agreements. We teach that. And you put the escalator in the lease agreement. And it's based on the FMR, the fair market rent rates. So I have approved numbers, right? Every year they come out around December, maybe sometimes in November. And you see those new numbers for the next upcoming year at your public housing authority's website. So Raleigh Housing Authority posts it. You could also go to the government site and see the national data as well. So you can see all areas. And ultimately, when I saw that, I was like, okay, these are really good rates. They move. So in particular, these things happen too. These are good things that tend to happen. Raleigh moved to what's called the small market FMRs. So with the small market FMRs, what ends up happening is they look at the actual zip code instead of comparing across all zip codes. They look at the specific zip code. Well, I happen to have a really good zip code, 27609. At the time, sure, 2016, it didn't balloon yet, but then it did. So it started soaring really fast. That's definitely after 2020, after COVID. And so you can see here, my rent jumped substantially. I mean, I went up like 30% in 1 year now. So it's 28.26. You can see the new contract rent rate that goes into effect in June. So I scroll down here. So by the numbers, let's break the particular property down, and you can see debt service has remained the same. That's a beautiful thing about a 30-year fix in the United States. We have those. Many other countries, these things don't exist, but P&I has remained constant, 426, which is a beautiful thing. Taxes, obviously, you can see here have soared substantially. That's because the values went up a lot after COVID and everything, and then they did a reassessment. So it's 197. There's going to be another screen I'll show you guys where you compare everything side by side and see everything. The HOA has also gone up quite a bit. So it went from 225 in 2016 to now in 2025, 9 years later, 327. And insurance has also gone up, went from $39 to 81 now. So my total cost currently, as this property sits today, is 1,032. You can see there. My monthly cost has increased by $260 more per month. That's okay because the rents collected have increased by quite a bit more than that. As you can see here, $1,496, bringing my total profit on one lousy property, right? It's not lousy, but just saying it's pretty simple property. $1,794 a month. That's one property. That also accounts for all these numbers account for a 3% in monthly maintenance cost. And that's not really a forecast. That's actually pretty much hard, true numbers that when I reconcile every year, I track every expense, and we all should, right? You track all your expenses on all your properties, and they're townhomes and condos. They don't have the big ticket items. So it comes to an approximate number. It's actually like 2.8% of all my monthly rents on all my properties. That's how much it comes to over the course of, I've been reconciling pretty detailedly for about the past 11 years. So I can say this data's been tried, true, and tested for about 11 years, and I'm always around 2.8%. So I round up, just call it 3% of my monthly rent. 3% is for maintenance. Might not be this month, might not be next month, but the following month, you might want to rip that carpet out. The next month, and 2 more months later, you might have to put in a new sliding glass door. Anyway, though, 3%. So all these numbers account for that as well. So there's no hidden, unaccounted for costs in here in these numbers. So I'm not trying to fake these numbers. So here's the actual current returns on this property. So it's still at the 4.5. I still only put the 20% down. So $24,095 have been put in, accounting for closing costs as well. In my current rent, 28.26. And you can see the taxes have gone up, obviously. But ultimately, over here on the right, you can see this is what I'm getting cash on cash. This is per year. This isn't like over the course of the 9 years. Like this year alone on my cash, I'm getting 85% return on my cash. So that's realized gains, right? Then there's unrealized gains, and that's what I talk about, the total yield. So the principal pay down, the appreciation, which I totally miscalculated, and that's what I get to here. And I'm just showing here. I estimated a 53% annual total yield on the property, but clearly I achieved nearly 2 times that at 99%. But then when you actually account for the value of it, because I was only counting at 99% represents a 2% annual appreciation. I was taking 2% because I like to be conservative. Now, I should have known better, obviously, Raleigh, North Carolina. I mean, the national average over the past 40 years has been 3.5%. That's why they say, real estate's an inflationary hedge against inflation itself, which is pretty accurate, right? You can look at the data. It's like basically they're hand in hand. But when you buy in the right pockets of geographies of real estate, you could get much better than that. And that's what happened in Raleigh. And I said the average was 11.5%, which equates to a total annual yield. That's realized and unrealized gains. Unrealized gains would be appreciation, right? Unrealized gains would be principal pay down. So those types of things. Unrealized gains are the tax benefits. Those are unrealized. You're not actually exercising anything until you actually offload that property or make a move financially with that property. But 139% total yield. Totally off. So when I was verbally saying this to my friend, I was like, I didn't say it to him. I said afterwards, I was thinking, I was like, I got to break this down. And so that's what this is here. Actually, let me show a better visual of that. That's what this is over here. And it is mind blowing to see how these this one particular property, how it actually breaks down. I'm gonna try to blow it up so you can see it a little bit better, and all of them side by side, which is pretty fun. So I was doing this, and if you're still watching the video, I appreciate that. But right here, 2016, these were the real numbers. Monthly cost, 812, right? Monthly rents, 1330. Monthly cash flow, 518. Cash on cash, 25%. Total yield, 40%. I like to don't be too short-sighted. Cash on cash is the cash flow it's producing, right? How much cash are you profiting per month? That's a good thing, but I feel like it is short-sighted. Buy in the right areas, and you're going to look at total yield as well, and that's where appreciation comes into this equation and why this return is so massive. Because you got to think too, if the properties are appreciating, there's a positive correlation between appreciation and rent rates. The rents are going to go up that much quicker. If property values are going up quick, so are rents. They're a little bit behind. They say it's roughly an 18-month lag. So when properties balloon, don't expect your rents to balloon instantly. It'll take a little bit of time. And that's clearly where I'm at now. I'm about 2 years behind this year. Why they jumped 30%. It also has to do with the SMFRs that they're doing, the small market FMR rent rates that Raleigh Housing has considered adopting, which other areas such as Greensboro is doing the same as well. So anyway, that's the real. These were the real 9 years ago. Here's what I forecasted and I was happy about, right? I was like, okay, cool. This is why I'm doing this investing. I'm gonna hopefully gain these benefits. And I estimate an annual, so I highlight here, monthly costs 888. That was at an estimated increase of 1% because I was seeing around 1% until certain things will happen. COVID is kind of the black swan type event. Monthly rents, I was expecting them to increase around 2% because that's what I typically see. Most of my properties, though, are like 3.5%, honestly. But I like to be conservative in my underwriting just to make sure, hey, this deal will still fly and still be good at these rough low number estimates. So I do 2%. Cash flow, 679. That's still pretty good, guys. This is one lousy property at 100K. Cash on cash return by year 9 would have been 33.8%. That's for that year, that 1 year. And a total yield of 53% for year 9 alone, 53%. However, that's what I forecasted back in 2016. And now it's fun to look 9 years ahead, which is where we're at currently, 2025. Here's the real numbers. And tell me, like, this was crazy when I did it like this. And you could see monthly cost. Yeah, I was a bit off, right? Like quite a bit off. And one of the things that was happening to me was the taxes soared because the values went up so much. Additionally, the HOA went up quite a bit because there was a high demand. So there's a high demand in this particular area, and so there was just more complaints. Right, the HOA was just working away on different stuff now. Suddenly, got new roofs, got new siding, got new windows, stuff like that. They were doing all these upgrades to the units and stuff. So that went up, and insurance went up a lot because values go up, so does insurance. So I didn't expect values to soar at 11.5% per year, but that's what happened. And that's primarily because of COVID. When COVID hit, I mean, they really went up, particularly in Raleigh, North Carolina. And anyway, monthly rents, though, have been catching up. And that's the beautiful thing. I forecasted 1589, and this is where they're at. I mean, I'm nearing $3,000. And that is not me paying for utilities. This is my tenant still pays for utilities, gets the voucher for the utilities because this is still a Section 8 property. This is a 4-bedroom townhome, Section 8 property. I haven't, in fact, it's been the same tenant other than the first year. As I showed an example of my lease, even Eloise was living there. And then this family moved in. Fantastic family. They've been there 8 years, I guess now, almost. So yeah, no turnover, have zero turnover. And the maintenance has held true at about the 3% number too. And that's including a new kitchen I put in this year. So cash on cash is 85%. My total yield, because of that appreciation ballooning way more than anticipated, is 139%. That's this year alone, 139, and in going up. Next year, it's going to be higher. So it's like, yeah, guys, this is not rocket science by any means, right? This is not something that, like I said, this wasn't me finding a flying purple squirrel. This was me just hunting in 2016. If I had more money, I would have bought 3 deals in 2016, but I didn't. But you never know when we talk about timing the market, and it's not really about that. And you've heard the saying, it's not timing the market, it's time in market. And it's so true. When you had a property for 5, 6 years and you can look back, and in this case, I look back 9 years ago, I haven't touched the financing. Like I said, I knew I was in a good spot, 4.5%. And I have a W-2 job. That's my offense. I'm going to stick to doing my offense because I enjoy my job. I enjoy my life. I enjoy my lifestyle. I have a good lifestyle, work-life balance, family life balance. I put family first, and I have all this going on, right? And we're still doing Section 8 secrets. But guys, it's not that hard. You got to get the systematic way and just buy one unit. Like I try to promote in our courses and stuff, like in our students, like just get one unit, guys. It's not going to make you go broke. I promise. It's not going to be overwhelming, and just see how things go. Just get one. Just try it out. Yes, you're going to need like $25,000 to $30,000, and I'm going to recommend Greensboro right now. But you're welcome to join the program, and we can target some properties for you. Like I said, I'm about done, so I like looking at properties. I still look at them every day, pretty much, and I'm pretty content. I have enough. I've managed 11 now. Still have my corporate job, coaching. I coach soccer. And I'm having a lot of fun outside of the work stuff. So 11's my happy spot. I keep my tenants really happy. I could tend to them as I want. I don't have a property management company. So I was thinking maybe if I get to 15, I'll maybe offload some to a property management company. But you guys can get one, two, three, four, five, in a short period of time. And then you can look back and really see what type of wealth has been built. But check us out, section8secrets.com. I'll share the link as well in this posting for the community news that will go right to this article if you want to take a closer look. But if you watch this far, appreciate it. You now know, how good this one property has been. And I'm probably going to do this, like maybe I'll do the next one I do, the next increase I do. I will probably do another video on that one just to show like this isn't, like I said, this isn't a flying purple squirrel deal. This is just one deal that I was happened to talk to a buddy about, and I was like, oh, cool. I literally just got the email yesterday. I was talking to a friend of mine, and I said, oh, cool, nice. I just got the approval of a rent increase. Now I pushed for 2,900, and you saw I got 2,826, and that's how it works. And it put a burden on for the listeners out there that aren't familiar with the program. My increase does not put any financial burden whatsoever on the tenant. And I teach that, and I say that with clarity and confidence because that's how the program works. Section 8 housing choice vouchers and other voucher programs is income-based program. So that means if you could charge $1 million, which the FMR likely won't be, then you can collect that, and it doesn't put any burden on them. So check us out, guys. Section8secrets.com, and I hope to see you in there. All right, take care.